chances are you're not having a villain arc. You're just showing self-respect. Now, a lot of people, you've seen this all over line. Villain arc, villain arc. I'm entering my villain arc. And it's typically people going to the gym. There's various forms of content. Some of it is theatric. And yeah, sometimes it's just a keyword for the algorithm to get people more views. And you have some sketches attached to it. And some of it's just for entertainment purposes. So it has multiple meanings depending on the content that you choose to consume. And of all these gym bros, who, by the way, I could see the progress, keep up the good work, King. I don't think they're villains. I just think that they are doing better. I'm not going to get it mixed up. Not everybody in life who has been hurt is not going to take out their problems on innocent people, which I have seen before. I've been around it. I could tell multiple stories of trauma and how it affects each other and adds to the cycle. I can make a 30-minute video off of that. But when you're that person who takes it out on innocent people who are genuinely caring and trying to help for, then yes, I feel like you have become the villain and you have become the bad guy. But a lot of these people just are improving because they're not really hurting anybody innocent. They're going to the gym and taking their frustration out on the weights. Because, hey, I don't think that it's just the villain that hurts. Sometimes it's the hero that hurts. Sometimes it's the anti-hero that hurts. And sometimes just because you step out of a toxic situation and choose to do what's best for you and make the next move in your life and choose to move on, some people do look at those people like they're the bad guy because, again, they were around some narcissists. And I think that's where it comes in. I don't like the overuse of the term villain arc because it spreads and gives ideas to people. You know, the same people who start to idolize Walter White, which I do enjoy the show Breaking Bad, don't get me wrong. But I think Walter White's story is a cautionary tale about how, yeah, you can make a change to your life, you know. Hopefully it's not slinging any sort of drugs, and there were times in the earlier seasons where he was for sure using his powers and his intellect for good and to help him and Jesse, but along the line he got consumed with it and changed, and he chose to be selfish. He was using Jesse as a pawn all the time. He was super manipulative, and he was preying on a lot of people. Even the poisoning of the kid was horrible, and you end up hating him by the end of it. Now he does have that small redemption in the last episode, Felina, but let's not forget that he took things very far in a game that he didn't need to be a part of. There were a lot of instances that could have avoided that whole thing because a lot of people's lives got hurt. That scene in the last episode where he's watching his son walk home from school bus, just broken down, miserable, and obviously affected. You know, he might have freed Jesse at the end, but the damage he did, and as much as people like to hate Skylar, look what he did to her too. Look who he got hurt. Look who he got taken from this world. And what these narcissistic normies in society will do is they'll push good-hearted people to believe and gaslight them to think that they are actually bad people. And then they will embrace something like that Walter White persona where it's never enough, or they hurt people who love them, or hurt people who are in their family, or just hurt people that are their friends in general. Or they pursue that Patrick Bateman or even Tyler Durden arc that ends up eventually taking things very far, and people who don't need to get hurt get hurt. And I know life is not a comic book or a movie or a game for that matter, although it is entertaining and it does have a lot of philosophies that maybe we could apply in life when it's necessary and when it's okay, because a lot of the philosophies that I've learned from real life are way different from the philosophies and lessons from fiction. We could look at the heroes and know that they do also deal with pain. They also do try and self-improve, and they also do fight back and push back against evil. And especially in this society, I can look around and see especially the ostracization that a lot of young men feel that push them to this gym culture and the influx of muscle content, which I have taken part in, don't get me wrong. I like to show my workouts online, but I never really like to put the villain arc thing on my descriptions, because I know at the matter of fact, I'm not a villain. I know that I've been hurt in life just like everybody else has, but I'm not trying to hurt anybody who's innocent. I'm not looking to take advantage. I'm just trying to constantly improve myself, because it's a better channel for the negative things I've experienced in life than going out and doing stuff that aren't productive. Because let's face it, the normies in society, they chase superficial clout. They consume content that's very mindless day by day, and they let it consume them. They never put down their phones. They don't have the attention span to listen to anybody else. They lack the empathy, but think that they can make up for it by reposting a meme on their Facebook feed that is something they don't actually authentically believe in, but they want brownie points from it, and they can't actually have an authentic sense of empathy or feeling. That's just where society has ended up going, and I understand that. A lot of people are in it for themselves. A lot of people aren't going out to do the right thing. A lot of people just want power, control, and don't care about anyone else but themselves. I have experienced that. I have tried explaining my truths only to realize that they have tuned out 3 seconds later. They give me a response that is totally tone deaf, and all I can do is walk away. It breaks my heart. It really does. We all have feelings. We all have expectations. But sometimes I see people think that they are actually the problem because it's so widespread, that they actually think that they're tainted because they want a deeper existence, or they're unsure whether this is their only life. So what do? They want to make it count, and then society treats them like a freak for wanting to do that, but it's okay for other people too. So you get people feeling ostracized, and they think, I'm going to be treated like the bad guy by default, and what happens? They end up adopting a persona, and they end up becoming a shell of their former self. Sometimes they think that they are Anakin Skywalker turning to the dark side, or that they are Patrick Bateman finally snapping. And it's kind of shocking to see how many people can relate to stories like the Joker. And honestly, I understood that movie too, but what something like that would kick off, you end up finding people on the internet who mimic that and have left quite the spot of infamy on their records. But I promise you, to those who have been led to believe that you're the bad guy for wanting a deeper existence because you have a attention span for more than 3 seconds, or you can consume a movie and try and take something away deeper from it. Because I do believe that intellectual content and that intellectual talking piece is out there. I've seen so much of it, and there are more people out there who are very smart human beings and don't try and just post 3-second OF content. But if you have a bunch of people who think that because they're turning away from toxic situation or just narcissistic, deluded people, that they're all of a sudden the villain, no, I think you're not the villain. You're just self-improving, and you're changing your circle to something that's way more healthy, because in modern society, the people who lack common self-awareness is unbelievable. Every day I wake up and every day I see it, and let me tell you, I'm surprised more and more that it gets that widespread. That sometimes I don't think it's as hopeless as a lot of people like to make it out to be. These people who have adopted well then I guess I'm a Jason Todd. Maybe you're not a Jason Todd. Maybe you're just a Dick Grayson who's finally doing his own thing. Or maybe you just weren't looking for Batman's attention. You were studying under someone who just ended up being a Joker themselves, who didn't want what was best for you. Or maybe you were the Jesse Pinkman to someone's Walter White. And it's ironic for me to say this because I just said that fiction is fiction and real life is real life, but I'm using these analogies and these character examples to just get you guys to know that you shouldn't be so hard on yourself. You're not a villain for wanting bigger muscles or a stronger physique or a stronger frame or reading books or building skills, trying to start a YouTube channel, trying to start a positive persona in wake of a bunch of shallow content that's widespread. honestly, you guys are the heroes. You guys are trying to, if you change your titles, you would see that you might be spreading a positive example that a lot of society is narcissistic. And to the people who actually have feelings and empathy and care about other people, you can inspire them to do great things. So maybe I might overthink that the villain arc mantra is overused, and maybe if we tweaked it, we could save a lot of people from going down extreme paths based on illusions. Because like a good mentor told me, sometimes you see truths that are authentically there, but sometimes we might miss the bigger picture. I actually remember at a point in my life where that applied, where I thought I was the problem because people gaslit and invalidated me my entire life. But I grew up in one of the most superficial, inauthentic towns, ironically, that I broke that bubble and I met some very real people that, changed my perspective. And I knew what it was like finally to be loved and to not have to try so hard to get someone to care about you when you walk through the door. And it is a baseline shell shock moment in my life that I will not forget, because it got me to understand that some people just are narcissistic and won't admit their faults and continue to treat you bad and treat you like trash. But I'm just here to tell you, don't let them. There are people who will care. There's that one good girl that is looking for you, and you know what? Keep lifting weights so you're in the best shape when you meet her, King. Your hard work is not in vain, and I like the fact that there is actually a counterculture arising of people who are getting to work and who are trying to reimagine that innovative spirit, which is why I think this video means so much to me, because if I could make a small dent and maybe reach out to a couple people who think they're going down a villain arc and, maybe help them so they don't take it too far and just help them understand that they are self-reflecting. Just remember, man, you're not a villain. You're just a hero in a Gotham where there's a lot of corruption. Have a good day.